Hey guys, what's up? This is Twisted, and this is the Spirit Kings encounter. I'm Holy Priest point of view, and I mean, we may not be topping meters, but we are so useful on this fight. This is by far my favorite encounter that we've done since starting this raid. It's just too fun. There's so many cool things going on. It's a council fight, so you have to go through four of these guys one at a time. The order is always different. That's what makes it really fun. Is they each have abilities, right? And when they're out, they'll do these like certain abilities, but when you kill them, they go off on the side, and then since they're mean, they'll keep casting one of their choice abilities at you that's gonna pretty much dictate how you're gonna like do the rest of the fight. So it's really fun. It's dynamic. You can do a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of spells that I'm using here, and that all of us raiders are using, that is making this really cool. This first guy, as you can see, he does this AoE thing. We just run through him. He also summons these waves of these guys that just slowly march across the room. Don't be dumb and stand in that. I don't think we had a single death to anyone standing in that, because it's just hysterically easy to avoid. And so he's also going to be doing this cleave on his melee swings, and you just need to like pile up. It's one of those things that's shared between all the people in front of him. So pile up, AoE heal through it. It's pretty simple. I mean, this part is super easy. One thing that we're doing right now that we're screwing up. Oh, yep, light spring fight. It's really good. People are sitting at 50%. We're sitting too close to one of the waves. So blar, Druid uses Stampeding Roar. It's super effective. Yeah. Don't stand like right next to those waves of the guys, because he summons them at the four corners, and if you're right next to them, we have been standing by them once, and they all just like pop back to life, and then just were like, whoa, like right in our face, and we were just like, scatter! And, scattering is not such a good idea, because if you run away from the tank, you're gonna die, because his cleave is shared damage, remember? Someone's gonna die. Alright, so here's the second guy. What are you doing? Don't stand there! Whew. Crisis averted. Where's your holy paladins now? But no, seriously, you can use all kinds of sweet spells in this fight that you normally shouldn't be using, but, they're all situational. With this guy, he, like, from the previous encounter, that guy's going to still keep summoning those slow marching adds. This guy does that spinning attack. He'll randomly jump on a person. It debuffs them. You can see in the debuff frames who just got hit by it. They do 50% reduced damage and 50% reduced healing, so be smart with your cooldowns if you're a DPS class. If you just got like debuffed by that, don't like stand in it. And then he also does that volley. Volley shoots in 3, 2, and 1, and each of those does increased damage. You really should only get hit once by one of those ticks, so you want to make a circle around him. And then the other thing he does is he shoots these little arrows from the sky. If they hit you, it hits everyone like a 6-yard radius, so you need to be loosely spread apart, and when it does hit you, you get stunned, and you have to DPS the arrow, but, I'm a human, lol, racial, run into the group. It's okay, melee, you don't have to run that far over to me, I'll come to you. Yep. So that's how that ability works. If you're close together, like we did have some pretty hysterical looking things where that rained down on the group right as the slow moving ads were like marching across the room, and we're like, quick, break them free or they're gonna die. It's pretty humorous. Oh, mage, get out of that. Whew. Blink, he's super pro. Anyway, so as you can see, I took feathers on this fight. I think it's super useful. I took Cascade as my level 90 talent, but it's not something I'm spamming that much. Like, it's really situational. If we're spread out and if the damage is like going all over, there is a time to use Cascade, but it is a high mana cost. And although this fight, it seems to be like, it's really long. This is like a 10-minute encounter I'm illustrating here, but it doesn't seem taxing on mana. Like, I'm using Mindbender close to on cooldown where I want it to be, but it's still not like optimal Mindbender usage. Like, I could do better in hindsight, but I didn't need it. I finished the fight at the mana that I targeted that I was going to finish with, and it's not like I ever felt I was super crippling by not casting the appropriate heal for the situation. Alright, so when that guy goes away, he's still going to keep jumping in at you and doing that debuff for the rest of the fight. So, and this is also on top of the other guy who's going to keep summoning those slow marching derp guys that like walk across the room. You need to like not. Now we have to avoid both of those mechanics, and it's kind of going to be interesting because since he does jump at the group, you want to spread out for it. Now this guy, he's pretty cool. Like, this is probably the coolest guard, even though he's the hardest to kill. He's really neat. He does this ability, like, he's in 2 phases. He's basically getting more and more enraged right now. Like he's getting more. Or wait, no, this isn't the guy. Okay, next guy, next guy. This guy. Okay, this guy. What he does is he summons. He'll randomly shoot like a shadow blast at you, and so it can be interrupted. We have like an interrupt rotation going with our melee, and they're just like chattering event right now, like oh, interrupt this, interrupt this. And then the other thing that he does is he puts a debuff on people, and like right now, I'm like, oh, the debuff right there. What it does is it goes on a person, and they're being chained to it, like as you can see our Shadow Priest in the back, and it does damage if you're in range of it. So I'm giving him feathers, making sure he doesn't get hit by it, and he runs off into a corner, and then when you kill the ad that's like following you, it drops that little void zone. The void zone will slowly build back up into an ad again. So the way it targets the next person, it's random when it first comes out, but the next time it targets someone, it's going to be whoever's closest. So you can see here, I'm like plopping feathers down for my druid, and like, here, take some feathers, because it's going to come back to life and go chain to you, and this is intentional because he can heal in the move. So he's running around trying to kite it. It's pretty sweet. Like, I mean, and look, the other guy that's kiting it here in the back, or Shadow Priest, see, he's like running with it, and he's like trying to get it off into a corner so it can die in a corner. It can fill up the room pretty quick, but oh, it's okay. Druid has Typhoon. Knock that thing into the corner where it belongs and kill it safely outside of our raid. Like, you really can do a lot of sweet things with all of the spells that you never use in here. And like, oh, like right here, this is really funny. I tried to grip the Shadow Priest, and I'm like, oh, you're about to get waylaid by that wall of slow death, and like I gripped one of his apparitions. You know, it's kind of I don't think there's any game breaking like healing per second problems in this fight, really. I mean, I don't think I showed up. Like, I honestly haven't really looked at myself in the healing per second meters, but like I don't really care what my healing per second is. It's fine. Like, the amount of utility I'm bringing to the raid right now with all of my sweet spells, it more than makes up for it. Like, it's awesome. Okay, so when you kill this guy, he's going to continue to keep doing those purple things on the ground, and those purple things need to keep being kited off to the corner. So that's like the range, like pay attention to this. Melee are still in interrupts. Now this is another weird interrupty boss, and this is the one that I kind of went in half an explanation before this. He slowly gets more and more enraged as his energy goes on. You can see the energy on the right there. So his energy's going up. He's doing more and more damage. He has these crazy thoughts that like give him energy. You want to keep him in this phase, basically, because he's like, I think he's taking more damage. I don't know, I have to double check that. But basically, you want to keep him in this phase as long as possible. So you want to interrupt all of those crazy thoughts so he doesn't get too much energy. And then this is why. He gets to 100. See, he's at 100 right now. And he switches from being more and more enraged and crazy to being more and more of like a pushover pussy, and he runs away from you. So he's in cowardice right now. One of the things that cowardice does is the more damage you do to him, the more damage you take. That's what this debuff is. That's on all of us. But that's okay. I'm a priest. I can mass dispel that debuff. You know, where is your paladins and resto shamans and crazy monk healing now? Like, why heal through that damage when you can just mass dispel? I don't know. It just seems to me like priests are just like MVPs on this fight. They're freaking awesome. The other thing he does, and this is the thing that we still don't know how to manage. Like, you'll see here when we actually scrape our kill. We have not like successfully figured out how to manage this part. He puts this entire thing on the raid, and it's this disrupting shout. And if you get him first and earlier in the fight, this is what he'll do. Like throughout the rest of the encounter, like after you kill him and as he's sitting on the side, he'll like periodically disrupting shout. What it does is it makes everybody hostile. Everybody hostile is a problem because I can't heal people who are hostile. So the way you get unhostile is to do exactly 40k damage to everybody. But see, here's the thing we noticed. You can keep like damaging people and keep like raffle stomping their health pools if you're doing like channeled AoEs, or if you're doing AoEs that are persistent or dots or anything like that. So it's really critical to like do 40k AoE, and you only want to do 40k AoE, and then when they're debuffed with that, since they're unhealable, if you didn't dispel that during the cowardice and you're getting that thing out of control, you could go into that phase with that dot way up, and there's no way to save you because you're hostile, that dot's ticking on you, and it doesn't actually clear the debuff. You have to do player damage to clear the debuff. So you'll see here that it gets out of control. That's one of the things that gets out of the control. Really what's happening is we're trying to like manage all the other stuff that's still happening because, you know, the other 3 guards are still casting their crap all over. So ranged are running around the room like, oh, we need to kill these little void things, and like melee are like, Dur, what are we doing? Like, attack here, do this, interrupt this. No, wait, don't interrupt that. And then like I'm running around like, oh, we need healing cooldowns here. This is gonna happen. Watch out. And then right then, thanks, Spinny guy decides to jump into our group. It's like, oh, we need to clump up for heals. And the guy's like, oh, no, you don't. I'm gonna jump in and debuff all of you. Almost wiped us, but that's okay because I'm a priest and I have angel form. Save the day, stay alive. Ah! Staggering into the finish line. And that's more or less what our kills usually look like. Okay, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be more mature in the next one, but I really did think this fight was super fun. Get creative with your abilities. It's probably my favorite encounter by far. Look for Elegon on Monday.